Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about kind of I/O, okay, and just the I/O terminals themselves. So in this particular instance I actually am using an automation direct control module. I do have a Micrologix 1000 PLC with its I/O, and then I have a remote I/O terminal block. Now I'm going to tell you straight up, it doesn't matter what brand you have. I don't care whether it's automation direct or if it's Allen Bradley or Siemens or whoever it might be. Some of these I/O and the amount of wires that you have to connect into them do not look good in cabinets, are a nasty disaster to deal with and work on, and all of the above. So I'm a huge advocate for getting these little remote I/O terminal blocks like this. So what these actually do is, instead of having this particular block right here, I'm not sure if this one's kind of froze in there at this point. With its age, it's going to be a little bit more frozen there, but these are removable. Let's see if I have one sitting here available. Over here in the other side of the shop here, I've got a module we'll just pull out of our PLC off hanging on our wall. So right here we've got this terminal block here. So it'd be the same simplistic option as this right here. So you could put this kind of thing into the snap fitting, or you could buy this with this is already mounted in there and this has to go in, etc. But this particular block is manufactured, and these are soldered in to it. If you look through back here, you can see that those pins are soldered in. These are soldered to be a remote cable that's going to tie into a remote I/O block like this. So then you'll have a connection cable that'll snap into this. You'll run it in through your wire duct into your cabinet, into this remote terminal block here, and then snap these two together, and there you have all of your pins, and they'll all be labeled depending on what the particular I/O terminal is, and it'd be no different than having this guy here with all of its terminal numbers right here. Again, gonna be the same thing here. So, and then you'll just terminate your wires here. They're a little bit cleaner. They can be at times a little bit more complex to follow if all you're having your technicians do is follow wires back to the PLC. If this is something new that they've never seen before, obviously that becomes another challenge, but that's a whole different category, a whole different situation. But these become easier to troubleshoot in the long run. These are easier to work with, easier to wire into, all of that. And so if you think about like the smaller of these direct Logix controllers, and how tiny these little screws are, and how tiny these little terminals are, you try to put a bunch of 14 gauge wires into that, or even 24 gauge wires, it can be kind of a nuisance after a while. Or if you're putting 18 gauge wires or even 14 gauge wires, if that's what you're using, into these terminal blocks, it's a lot simpler. And then it's just kind of a standard screwdriver size versus getting one of those little micro flat end screwdrivers. So huge fan of these. I highly suggest you put these into your application. Yes, they do cost about $100 more per unit, depending on the brand. Again, Automation Direct is always substantially cheaper, but again, it's highly worth it. The value is there, so just consider it for your next project. That's all I got. Thank you all for watching.